All right, welcome to some more Legacy here on my YouTube channel. I love Jeskai Wizards, and today we're going to be playing some Control. Lots of players like Control decks in Legacy, and myself included. This deck was somewhat reasonable choice before the banning of Entomb. I remember running Minor Misstep and Spell Pierce slot. Now the world looks a little bit different, but I think it's more true than ever that you need closing power in your control deck. This is why I added 3 Murktide Regents to the deck. I used to play 2 with a single Fortheolingus, but I noticed that in too many, Force of Will matchups, Force of Negation matchups, I would just prefer to have a blue win condition. Sure, this is going to get plowed game 1 some of the time. That's just how it goes. This deck has a ton of counter magic and is trying to bury the opponent in card advantage from Thundertrap Trainer and Flame of Anor. Flame of Anor, very flexible card as long as there's artifacts to kill, whether that's Chalice of the Void, Core Steel Cutter, and what have you. This card is reasonable. Dealing 5 to a creature is awesome. I will say this deck is a little bit scared of Orcish Bowmasters. More on that a little bit later. Rock solid mana base. I'm even playing one more duel than the average player. The plateau is certainly up for debate. This is a Tamiyo deck, first and foremost. This card, you want to start every game on Tamiyo. The card is amazing. Preordain's Overponders. I've explained this tons of times. Preordain is a card that, if your deck is mainly built of categories of cards rather than key cards, then Preordain is a lower variance cantrip. This deck is all about filtering the land spell ratio and less about finding, let's say, Up the Beanstalk, Core Steel Cutter, Stoneforge Mystic, and these, key cards. We also expect to be keeping fewer one-landers than the average deck since we're a 20 land control deck. So, Ponder Digging Deeper for combo pieces, setting up miracles, setting up Delvers. None of that is true in this deck. Couple of Dress Down for Ursa Saga coverage, can do a bunch of stuff as well. Single Snapcaster here. The card is fine. Nothing crazy, but we are a deck with, plows, endings, pierces, and then a ton of stuff in the sideboard it's also good with. Speaking of the sideboard, a couple of Wrath of the Skies for go wide strategies, Negation to cement combo matchups, Hydro for, dealing with Cutter on the stack, good against Pyroblast, just a good card in general. Consign a Memory against artifacts out of, Painter, Forge, Eldrazi, what have you. A couple of Surgicals to handle the graveyard, full place of Pyroblast since, people like to play their blue cards. And then a single copy of Stern Scolding to hedge against Orcish Bowmasters and decks like, Energy, Cradle Control, etc. If those decks pick up steam, or let's say Dimir Tempo becomes a de facto tempo deck with quad Bowmasters, I want a second copy of Stern Scolding, but we're not quite there yet. We are, however, at the point where I'll be transitioning into some gameplay. So let's play some Magic. All right, I'm on the play here with a rather unexciting hand. I'm going to keep this. This Brainstorm is really going to have to do some heavy lifting. My opponent's a combo deck. That's great. Let's see. Is there any world where I should play turn 1 Plains? Or is that just throwing equity on the ground here? If I play turn 1 Plains, now it's up against a combo deck. I could blow out my opponent, but I don't think it's a viable strategy here. Prismatic Vista kind of gives up on basic land control. Yeah, let's try and play the Flooded Strand here. If the opponent shows any sign of a black land, I will... Okay, so we're up against most likely Delver. So this hand is not great against Delver, I must say. The opponent has no 1-drop, so I guess that makes it a little bit better. It's time to draw some spells so I can get back into this game. Bubble cantrips. The opponent didn't like the card. No Surveil land, so they're holding up Bolt, I believe. I feel like I should pass. Force Pitch, Preordain on the Cutter. Okay, no Cutter, never mind. So with this run out, it looks like the opponent is on a tons of interaction plus Murktide Regent draw. I guess we like that. So should I brainstorm here? It's not obvious to me I should brainstorm, but looks pretty juicy. Brainstorm would be the something like finding a trainer would be the reward. I think that's good enough. I don't find a trainer. So now I can put back double planes. Or maybe I'm supposed to put back planes, fetch land. Planes, fetch land. So let's see. White. Off of this one, mountain island. So let's see, if I'm fetching a planes anyway, what am I supposed to do here? Is it ever a thing to save a life? Let's see if I can save a life here. What if I put back Scalding Tarn? Fetching over another island. Then I have the planes. Yeah, I think this is good. So I guess I play around my opponent having Stifle in the deck here. Fetch another island. Let the opponent draw. Brainstorm. So that is probably a pretty sweet draw. I think I'm supposed to play Prismatic Vista, Tameo Pass, and then I try and fizzle a removal spell with Brainstorm. No removal spell cast, which I guess is good for me. Chain Lightning. So let's cast Brainstorm Response. Try and fizzle it. Lightning Bolt in response. Is this something I'm willing to fight over? Or am I willing to take my hit here? Let's see. I think this is fine, right? Because now I trade Tameo. I cycle my Brainstorm. I'm up a card. I think this is fine. Drawing 3, putting back 2. Flame of Anor. Is that an unexciting card? So I guess I put back land Preordain. And I'm interested in drawing the Preordain here. Here's Delver of Secrets. That card is all good. Let me draw that Preordain. So now I could play a 6/6 Murktide if I wanted to. But that requires me to fetch Basic Island here, which I really don't like. So maybe I should just play a 5/5 with double force backup. Is that smart? Huh, do I want to play around double days? I actually think I do. Let's play around double days. So fetch mountain, play plains. Play Murktide around double days. I'll force the force. Fetch Preordain if necessary. Unholy Heat is a card I now have to force, but I think that's alright because... Well, I don't think they run the card because of Chain Lightning. They could run a single copy, I guess. Okay. Wasteland does nothing. I'm very happy to see that card. This card does very little. But I guess here comes Murktide Regent. That's a 5/5. Petty Theft. So the opponent gets to resolve that one, and I will force pitch Preordain. And now there's a must attack situation next turn, so I'm just going to chill with my Murktide. I draw another one. That's a good draw. So it is very likely my opponent has their own Murktide Regent in hand. And now that's a card I need to force, which is annoying. Because now it gets to a 6/6. I'm forcing with Lame of Anor, I think. Ooh, they don't have it. That's very good for me. So let's block. Here's Delver. Am I supposed to now cast a draw 2? Let's try to cast a draw 2. I think that works. Draw 2 cards, churn a little bit, fill the graveyard. I feel like if the opponent had bolted with a castle already, could be a bad read. Let's see. Ooh, those cards are good. Can I draw the fetch land? I cannot draw the fetch land. But if I preordain into a land, I think we're kind of at the same conclusion. So I will get dazed though if I do this. So I feel like I should slow down. Like this. This is a little bit of a weird game because usually forces are very bad against Delver, but it's actually pretty darn good when I'm up on cards here. Murktide still holding the fort. No attack. Makes a lot of sense. Let's dress down to beat days on the following turn. I don't want that to carry over to my turn, so I do it here in my opponent's second main phase. Flame of Anor. Card in the graveyard. And now I can slam another Merc. I could plow first. Is that good? Plow first and then grow the maximum amount. I think that's fine. Worth noting is that the double day situation now comes up. Looks like... Okay, that is all good. I really don't think that's a problem. Yeah, this is over. Then I'm going to slam the next Murktide, attack for 1,000,000, hold the fort, all of that jazz. All right, was able to grind out Delver, but to be honest, the opponent didn't draw a whole lot of action. Let's consult the guide here. The guide says to cut 8, so 6 forces and 2 dress downs. I like that a lot. And then add these 8. If you want access to these guides, please consider subscribing to my Metafy. I have 1,000,000 legacy guides over there. I'm hosting tournaments. I have the best guest primers. I have a community with plus 300 players and a bunch of VIPs. So, yeah, that would be awesome to see you over there. Breath of the Skies and this sideboarding adds a little bit of hard requirements from the mana base, but it's still a decent comeback card. Yeah, we got pretty lucky the opponent didn't have like an early threat in this game. Then we could easily stabilize with Murktide against a bunch of early creatures. All right, this hand is great with a bunch of early answers. It could be one of those games where I have to go off of red mana for the time being. Because, you know, countering Core Steel Cutter is a lot more important. So I guess Island Pass. And then thinking about what to do. I think that's going to be great. All right, Chandler. Best turn one play out of that deck. They do run out the bauble, so that makes it less likely that I have a Core Steel Cutter in my future. And maybe with that logic, I'm supposed to Hydroblast. Ooh, drawing Spell Pierce here. Maybe I'm fine taking one hit here. I think delaying my decision on whether to Hydro or Plow that Chandler is going to be good. And if I get to catch a cutter here, I'm just living my best life. Spell Pierce, a little bit situational in the matchup, I must say. One more. I love the play from the opponent. I think I should try and Hydro this on the stack. Great play here. great way to utilize your days with how Chandler works here. Yeah, well played. All right, Chandler resolves. And now I'm in a little bit of a pickle where my pyros don't line up against these guys. No delirium. My opponent needs a sorcery or a creature into the yard to get delirium. Rainstorm into the bin. Okay. Ooh, yeah, this is going to be a tough one. I think I need to plow one. Can I play around second days, or should I try and get my brainstorm fired off? My opponent keeps the card on top of the deck. So to be fair, they will do that with a lot of cards here. But the nightmare scenario is that that's a daze. Then I really get buried. I'm not sure. Let's see what my draw step is. Tamiyo. That card is unexciting. I think I need to get my brainstorm fetch in here. Let's brainstorm. Yeah, these cards are absolutely abysmal. So let's get rid of Pierce and I guess the first Pyro. Or is Wrath of the Skies not going to do it this game? I don't think that Wrath of the Skies is going to do it. I need to resolve this plow to be in the game. And then who knows if the Wrath of the Skies is useful if I manage to do that. So I like this. I'm currently in a situation where I need to find a red source. I need my opponent to not bury me with Cutter. Okay, so we succeeded that one. And I need my plow to kill this Chandler. And then I need the game to kind of fizzle out a little bit with my opponent having some Pyroblast that I'm playing through later. Please pass the turn. Okay, Delver's manageable. And I draw another Wrath of the Skies. That is terrible. So let's plow the Chandler. Let's play Tamiyo. This card will die any day of the week to Bolt or Pyro or whatever, but I'm just trying to, you know, trade cards, make plays, use my mana. Missing land drops here is abysmal. Third Chandler, very bad news. So, especially because my opponent has 2 cards in hand. If that's a blue card, I'm cooked. Because I did see the Force of Will. I don't even know what my best draw is, if it's a white source or a red source. My opponent has 2 cards. I know about Force of Will. I think I need to hope my opponent's last card's a Pyroblast. Here's Wrath of the Skies X1. Resolves. So I think my opponent's last card is Bolt or Pyroblast. Surprisingly, that resolved. So let's see. Force of Will and 1 unknown. Oh well, did we turn the corner? I think Preordain looking for land here is going to be the play, and then Slam Trainer afterwards. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of both of these. Try and find a land. I do find a land. Very nice. I do have to fetch Basic Island here. Holding up Pyro. A Source of Plowshares or Preordain. 2 darn good options. I will Pyroblast any, like, Ponder, Brainstorm, or whatever. Quarry Steel. Yeah, that's very good against my hand, unfortunately. Let's see if their last card is a Bauble. Last card's a Bolt onto the Trainer. Got it. Oh, no, that card. Okay, so... Wait a minute. Oh, they had the land force, and then they just... Okay, drew Brainstorm last turn. Makes sense. So... Let's counter that one. Let's take the damage down to 6. Yeah, this is scary because cantrips are so good at double spelling, so I'll have to like counter some ponders, etc. Let me plow that card, attack for Uno. And now I'm really looking for something like Murktide Regent, Flame of Anor, Snapcaster, like gas card essentially. Brainstorm. Did I play a land last turn? Not sure about that. Fine, let's brainstorm. Let's see if we can find something cool. This is something cool. Maybe I would need to draw 2 new cards. So let's see. Fetch down to 5. Get Volcanic Island, I believe. And then I go red. Draw 2, destroy artifact. If my opponent has force, I'll pyro it. Or if they have the blue card, rather, I'll pyro it. Counter target spell, if it's blue, that would be that one. So I'm still at 5 life. This is pretty scary. Do some bricks. I think I did my best job here to stabilize. Let's see if the opponent can draw out of this. Pyroblast is good. Any spell here is, you know, acceptable. The dream is to the opponent draws Murktide, and I trade for that card. Delver. Yeah, that card is annoying. Because it's a card I kind of have to kill. Preordain, great draw. Preordain into Tamiyo. I think that is going to be all good. So let's see if the opponent has the Pyro. Am I attacking with this? What if my opponent has Pyroblast? Kills this one. Yeah, I'll try and get going here. But it's actually a tough decision. Because let's say they kill the Tamiyo. They don't flip the Delver. Then I'm going to wish I had my Thunder Trap. But let's see. Flipping the Delver with a Lightning Bolt. Well, I'm going to destroy the Delver. My opponent could have Hydroblast, actually. They don't. Okay. So Lightning Bolt, either they completed the double bolt or... Yeah, they completed the double bolt. Okay. That's cool. So we're going to a game 3 here. I really tried to stabilize, but my opponent's draw was a little bit too strong. All right. I like the setup. Let's try and draw a little bit better and maybe see slightly less potent draw out of the opponent. That was a lot of 1-drops. Many turns for Murktide Regent to show up there. Yeah, just in general, I just had too little life to work with once I stabilized. Because Lightning Bolt is not supposed to be a good draw at that stage of the game. It's supposed to be, you know, a pseudo brick or whatever, what have you. All right, this hand is all good. I am a little bit weak to Channeler and Cutter, so let's try and make up for that. These cards are decent. I guess I can get rid of 1 Brainstorm and draw the Flame. The dream is Delver turn 1. Here's Delver of Secrets. We do like that. Tamiyo, not bad, not bad. So let's go Tamiyo, Pyroblast. If I get dazed here, so be it. The opponent with the pause here. Make it dazed. So essentially, when you plan against a card like Daze, it's just good to think about how can I minimize the effect of the card. So sometimes that's going to be passing the turn, doing nothing. Sometimes it's going to be playing your best spell out first. Okay, it looks like the opponent didn't want anything to do with that. Let's brainstorm and see. Okay, I need to practice my brainstorm skills. This is atrocious. So let's see. Those two back. Play that one. Yeah, this sucks. I needed some spell here, I think. The opponent didn't flip, so I think that means I can take more hits. I need to understand that I'm losing to Murktide Regent. Let's see what this is for the opponent. Second lane being the island is a little bit weak. They're passing. Okay. Let's fetch away some of those atrocious lands. I think it's fine to go for some duels with this kind of run out. Prismatic Ending is all good. That's a good card. So killing the Delver here is awesome. Let's play the Vista. Let's end the Delver. Also, right now we have a situation where Flame of Anor actually kills Murktide, which is decent. Let's see if the opponent agrees with presenting a 5/5 Murktide. Oh, okay, so Cutter into a spell here is good. I think I should Pyroblast here to kind of stop the barrage here, hopefully. Counter target spell if it's blue. This does leave me a little bit weak to Murktide later, but I think we have to accept that. Best draw here would be Tameo, so I can go Tameo Flame of Anor. I draw another flame. Okay, so flame the Cutter, I guess. This is pretty good for the opponent. Getting left with a monk in play here is super dangerous for me. Just good trading, right? They play a Cutter and a Cycler. They trade with a Pyro and a Flame, and they have a creature left in play. That could for sure add up later. Let's see if there's a 6/6 Murktide in my future. Yeah. 6/6 Murktide, unfortunately, a very good number. But if I don't counter the brainstorm, you know, things keep moving. Let's see. Can we do it here? I draw my own Murktide. How big is it one? That one is bigger. But it does die to Pyro right away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's play an 8/8. So if my opponent's last card is Pyroblast, I'm in a world of trouble. Here's the Surveil. The opponent keeps the card. I don't like that. Interesting. No flip Delver, but they kept the card. Is that Cutter? Unable to scream, maybe? Bobble, sure. Look at their own deck. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Surveil to the top? Yeah, what's going on here? Okay. I guess I'll let my opponent take the draw here. And I'll be... Okay, they didn't like the card either. Then they're going to draw a random card. Pyroblast cooks me. They didn't have Pyroblast. I feel like I should try and draw 2 cards here. I need to stabilize some way. I don't think Spell Pierce is the way to do that. I feel like I should hang on to this land because Brainstorm's such a good draw. Yeah, this is an accident waiting to happen. I really don't like this spot. Delver doesn't flip. So, okay, another one. That's good for me. I think this Spell Pierce is atrocious. So if I can get Brainstorm to swap my situation, I think I'm good. The opponent did inspect the top card of my deck. Am I interested in doing anything about that at all? I'll just draw the card. Snapcaster Mage. Snapcaster allows for pyroblasting the Murktide and getting down to business. I do like that. Snapcaster, Pyro, Pierce. Okay. Let's try it. If they had Pyroblast, they would have killed the Murktide ages ago. They could have Hydroblast here. I think that's fine. Growing the Murktide by 1 here is solid. But I don't think they have Hydro. Oh, they could have just found Hydro, I guess. Okay. Hydro's possible. Okay. The opponent has 1 card in hand. Am I supposed to go for the throat a little bit here? Maybe I should have thought about this earlier. I guess we play out the land here. I think my opponent has a brick in hand, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm just trying to finish this in 2 turns. Trump block. Oh, so the last card is Lightning Bolt. Does that make sense? Unholy Heat before damage. That is a bold move. Wait a minute. This is a 2 damage. Right? Sure. 2 damage. The block is in. Yeah. Not too sure about that one. Because Pyroblast grew the Murktide. Let's see what happens here. The opponent flips with Brainstorm. Should I kill the Delver now and draw 2 cards? Should I kill the Delver now and draw 2 cards? Let's try that. I guess red. Should I just go basics here because of some theoretical price of progress? Okay. All right. Let's see what the opponent now has to find off of that Brainstorm. I guess something that kills Snapcaster would be nice. Sorry, kills Murktide, of course. Brainstorm into Pyroblast. What is the 1 card? Ponder. Let's see. It looks like we've turned the corner. Shuffle. Yeah, the Unholy Heat situation was unfortunate. So, how do I feel about I should probably try and prevent some damage here. I think that's fine. Swords to Plowshare is a great draw, so I can play Trainer. I should probably do that. Like, what? Holding up Volcanic, maybe? Then I don't have Plow up. Maybe that's fine. Let's Offspring. I guess I should have attacked first. Okay, the opponent doesn't fancy their chances. Yeah, the Heat play was really not ideal. I think that kind of sealed the deal. I got a little lucky here to stabilize against Delver. My opponent had some sweet draws, and I had to fade a few times. But yeah, we get over the finish line, just like Jeskai Control wants to do. Let's play some more. Sorry for interrupting the video. Before we move on with crushing the opposition, I just want to shout out my MetaFi. This weekend, I worked very, very hard to update all of my favorite decks in Legacy, the best 75s, my top 8, over on my MetaFi. This will include card explanations, different sorts of tips and tricks for the decks, and also sideboard plans against the top 20 decks of the field. We have Isid Cutter, Dimir Tempo, Dimir Reanimator, Katara Tempo, Jeskai Wizards, Eldrazi Aggro, Affinity, and Omniscience. So if you want to get your hands on those, any subscription will grant you the access. I hope to see you over there. Now let's get back to crushing. All right, more Jeskai Wizards for everybody's pleasure. Let's see what we can do here. We don't know what we're up against, so this is like a pretty chill land pass situation. I guess I would rather my opponent think about tempo, so I play Tarn rather than get them to think about control, which is, actually the case. So I'll lead on Scalding Tarn, then see what happens, essentially. Always cool to play against familiar faces. Tarn pass. Tundra. Okay, so this is going to be a slugfest. Breakfast. Very interesting. This card is fine. Here's Brainstorm. Yeah, let's play a land and pass the turn. Basically, I want my opponent to come to me here. Versus Saga is annoying. Cephalid Illusionist. I feel like I should brainstorm in response here. Let me find this one, and then the intention to find Tundra if I hit a Plow. So Brainstorm. I don't hit a Plow, but I hit a Force of Will. I have a Wizard and a Flame here as well. So let's see. I might just like all of these cards. Dress down good against the opponent slowing down. So what happens if I put back something like Dress Down Plains? Then I force with Murktide. Now I have to give consideration to what if my opponent goes for it here. Do I win the game if I let my opponent go for it? I think that's the question. Am I interested in that? Yeah, maybe I am. Okay, well, let's put back these two. Then I'm going to let my opponent play, and then I'm going to see, I guess, how they handle this one, because they could stop, right? If they hit therapy early, well, and now they can kind of peek before moving on, which is super annoying. So let's see, what do I do about that? I let that resolve. My opponent will name negation or force a will. I have a land on top. So now, if they keep going, they have the force, and they beat me. They stop. We can kind of keep playing the game. This is a little bit of a weird sub-game. Okay. They're passing the turn, getting in for 1. All right. So if I play this, my opponent has perfect info, but I think that's all good. I want the dress down on top of my deck to stop the constructs. Also worth noting is if my opponent finds a force, they can keep going, which is always a little bit scary. Huh. Okay, so they're not going to get Saga going, which means the dress down on the top of my deck is not exciting. This ponder is fine. Wait, should I have killed something here? This is very hard, because if they find Force a Will, they can just kill me, right? This game confused me a little bit. Snapcaster Brainstorm, end of turn, sounds fine. Then the flame is on. Let's see what this is. This is Shuko. That's all good. Let's see if the opponent likes this. So what happens if I just go block the illusionist? Let's try. Get the combo piece off the table. Sigh relief. Leave them with, you know, Nomad and 2 Shukos, essentially. I don't think they have the land. Well, they could have found it off Ponder, of course. Okay, what a weird game. Tundra. Cast Brainstorm from the graveyard. This is not bad at all. This is actually great. This prismatic ending doesn't look exciting. So maybe that's just the card I'm getting rid of. Yeah, I think I'm shuffling that card. Going for a second volcanic. Playing a 4/4, holding up Pierce around Dace. I hope my opponent doesn't have some nasty surprises next turn. So now the Saga's gonna break. The opponent's mana base is in shambles. They're brainstorming here. I think this is a good Pierce target for me. Brainstorm fetch. They're kind of land light here. I think that was good timing. They know about my whole hand, I think. Floating a mana, getting another Shuko, I would guess, unless there's a trinket. Oh, wow, that's atrocious. Fails to find because they just drew the Shuko. Yeah, that's terrible. Here's the 3-1, which, funnily enough, is currently erasing my Murktide. Another Saga, sure. How can I try and slam the door on this game? Probably starts with brainstorming here. Let's see if I can find a second Murktide or something along those lines. Okay, this is playable as well. I think this is how I should play it. I also think this is not easy. Am I supposed to attack here? I think I should attack here. I know I'm losing the race, but I also really want to close the door on this game, so I think attacking here a couple of times, then finding a Murktide is something that could easily happen. Also, random interaction in the matchup is that Flame of Anor mills out the opponent. My top card is a Flame of Anor. Here's Ponder. Is this where I just go hard cast negation to quote unquote time walk? We can try that. This is another Saga just getting put into the bin, essentially. 11. Here's Flame. Let me draw 2 cards. Go for an island. Let's draw a couple of cards. That worked. I think I'm supposed to hold up Flame and force blue card. Yeah, this is a little bit sketchy because this could still lose to like Illusionist, force backup if I don't. So I think this is smart. We also confirmed a couple of turns ago the opponent has no Saga target left in the deck, so let's see what they can do. Load mana. I lose to exactly Illusionist, force blue card, Dace, which is possible. The aggro continues. Depending on my draw, I could slow down here. I don't think that would be insane. Land. Tamiyo. That's a good one. It's a little bit annoying that I have to probably slow down here. Force a will. Does that change anything? So, am I supposed to just draw 2 cards and... Yes. Let's draw 2 cards. We have lots of good ones here, including my own Tamiyo, I guess. I think this is time to slow down. Do I play my own Tamiyo? I think I play my own Tamiyo. The opponent's hand could be Prismatic Ending, I just realized. Alright, slowing down here. Not my favorite move, but I think it has to be done. If my opponent casts Prismatic Ending on the Tamiyo, I will accept. Ponder is fine. Okay, so I guess this is the most exciting stage of the game. Let's see if we can get over the finish line. Murktide would be insane. Flame would be insane. Bunch of good stuff. The opponent likes the top cards. Okay, sure. Let's see it, opponent. I lose to... Nope, I don't lose to Illusionist because they would need a land as well. Here's the ending. That's fine. And yeah, now it's time. I have decent odds here. Preordain. Rest Down, Brainstorm. These cards are good. Dress Down. I mean, that must be better than a random card. Brainstorm back 2 lands. Let's shuffle. Basic. Let's play Trainer. Let's grab a Preordain. Is it now time to start attacking? Is it now time to start attacking? Magic's hard game. Maybe it's time to pass. I feel like I can just find like a Murktide and one-shot my opponent at some point. I'm hanging on to double force here. If nothing bad happens, I can, again, have a draw step and preordain, see a ton of new cards to try and bury the opponent. This is a pretty sweet game. Cauldron Complete getting milled over. Will I regret not playing the land? No attack. I will just take the turn here. Force of Will, I guess, is fine. Preordain. Into some more good cards here. Maybe bottom the Dress Down, take the Brainstorm. Fast Brainstorm. Come on, deck. We can do it. Pierce is bad, but it pitches to Force of Will. Flame of Anor is insane here, so maybe put back. So let's see. What happens if I kill the Tamiyo, draw 2, into, I guess, Pierce and Force of Will? And now we can attack with... No, not that one. Let's just attack with Merc. Trying to put my opponent to 7. I have double force and plow. Oh yeah, this is classic control gaming. Go for a blue-black surveil here. Makes a lot of sense. Okay, they just play straight up blue-white maybe? No, the sewer's already in the graveyard. Okay, so I guess I missed that from earlier. Maybe the opponent did as well. Here's another Tamiyo. That card is fine. I guess I missed what this card does. Redirects to Tamiyo. Okay. So I guess I plow it. Sure, let's plow it. Plateau. Plow the Nomad. Play around Days. Spell Pierce would be really punishing. But I think I'm fine. Now the opponent can double equip. Get the big bad Tamiyo going. And I could find myself in a stall once more, which is a little bit funny. Okay. Drawing my own Tamiyo is not bad, because that blocks every day of the week. Sure. Opponent's on one card. Let's play Tamiyo. Let's attack for 4, and then I have 5 damage threatening for the kill. Am I supposed to dress down on my opponent's upkeep? Is that smart play? No, I don't think so. I actively want my opponent to attack and lose the game on the backswing. Orm's Chant. Yeah, we can't have that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't have that. I'm sorry. 1 card left. So I guess, yeah, I'm not sure what the last card is. Getting in there. I'll block with my own Tamiyo. All right, so looks like we got there on a very, very late turn, but we got there. Here's Cephalid Illusionist. I will force pitch dress down. And we are on to sideboarded games. All right, let's see. What do we have for the breakfast matchup? Let's consult the guide here. It's always good to do your homework and then consult the notes. So it looks like we're adding these 4 to the surprise of no one. And I'm cutting planes. I'm cutting a single copy address down, and I'm cutting 2 force negations. I do like that. Get rid of some card disadvantage and add some super efficient stuff. A card like Stern Scolding is actually something I really want to consider here. Maybe that's better than address down. Yeah, let's add Stern Scolding. That sounds awesome against Stoneforge Mystic. All right. Up a game against Breakfast in the Grind Fest that is playing Jeskai Wizards. It's always a treat, though, to play decks like this. So many game actions. The game is back and forth. It's on a knife's edge, and then you look for your time to strike. In general, Magic is an awesome game, so, and this deck does a good job of prolonging games of Magic, so that's more fun, right? So against this deck, you could start bringing in like Surgicals, etc., but I actually feel like if you overreact on stuff like that, you're more likely to lose to, let's say, Ursa Saga or Stoneforge into Kaldra, stuff like that. So yeah, I like this. I like this philosophy. Let's see what the opponent will upgrade with. I feel like they kind of have to play it towards their combo. I shouldn't have attacked. That was unnecessary if I'm playing was to cast. Yeah, for sure. The attack was just basically just putting them dead here. And they did present me a combo very early where I had double force and I slow rolled, right? If I initiate a fight there, this game looks a lot more different, so that was cool. Kept them in check, turned the corner, played a humble 4/4 flyer, and got there on turn 11, so what's not to like? What is not to like? All right, I'm on the draw here against breakfast. I have to think a little bit about my time. Ooh, this is annoying. No blue source, so can't keep that. This is a lot better. So something to do here could be get rid of a pyro. Then figure out later whether Murktide or Pierce is my blue pitch. Turn 1 Shuko, so the opponent's already threatening the combo, which is kind of cool. I guess. Yeah, Plow is a good draw. Plateau is a good land in my deck in this spot. So if my opponent plays Illusionist, what am I gonna do? I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna double island, so super solid mana base at least. Here's Tamiyo. Tamiyo is actually a card I'm willing to fight on this stack. Let's fetch Plateau. Plateau, Pyro. I just don't want things to get complicated where I have to counter a Brainstorm and what have you. Okay, this hand is super weak to to Ursa's Saga. And with me sideboarding out Dress Down, that kind of furthers the point. And here it is. Okay, that could be something I need to get back to the drawing board and consider. Here's Flame of Anor, but I'm missing a land drop. So I have to use a lot of cards on the Saga here, it looks like. Maybe even plow a couple. Now the opponent has access to white mana. Let's see if they're going to use that or not. They're not. Also now they know I have 6 spells in hand, right? So they really want to lean on that Saga. Oh yeah, this is not good. Well, I think I need the Tamiyo in play. Now I'm tapping down from Spell Pierce, which is a little bit scary, I must say. So now the opponent has a solid situation where they're asking questions with the tokens to try and extract disruption from me, and then later hopefully pounce with their combo. Super scary. Super scary. Oh, let me just take care of this. I like the card on top. All right, so this could be an annoying game. Let's see what this is. This is Orm's Chant. Ah, that's so strong here. Let's force a will, pitch the Spell Pierce. I think that card has run its course. Orm's Chant. Very, very, very annoying card here. So my logic is just going to be they're not going to, use that card unless they're threatening a win. So I basically give my opponent the credit here. Now I think the move is to plow the construct token in response here. Don't daze me, bro. No daze. 3 cards in hand. The opponent with the double equip. Land? That's not a land. So now I'm in a tough spot where I have to basically take 5 and then plow on the end step, or clue. I guess I'm cluing on the end step. That's probably better for mana usage. It's always a little bit rough to be sitting here on 2 lands, but if I had more lands, I would have fewer spells and all of that jazz. So if I can stay afloat until I find land number 3, I like my situation. I have to think more about this sideboard strategy, I think. Dress down. That might be fine. Maybe the Spell Pierce is what has to go. They're very creature-centric. I like the cards. Okay. Land there was amazing. I think what I now have to do is take... take 5 more damage and then kind of stabilize. This turn is going to be very key. The thing is, I only have one piece of interaction up, despite having multiple in hand, but mana is a huge bottleneck. The opponent gets their hit in first. You'll love to see it. How do I stabilize from here? Flame of Anor is a must counter. So maybe that's just the one. Destroy target artifact, draw 2. So like this. This will get hydroed a lot. I think that's all good. Flustered. Yeah. This is super powerful. 3 cards in hand from the opponent. Is it time for me to block with Tamiyo? I think it is now. So now I'm going to try and block. Then I'm going to fire the Brainstorm, which flips the Tamiyo. Is this... okay, sure. This is fine. So this could be the opponent building for another Fluster, which would be pretty sad, but I'm not sure how to play here. Ooh, that works. Nice. I guess I'm supposed to put back a land and a plow. Land and plow. Yeah, that sounds fine. Trying to flip the Tamiyo, it works. So I prevent the damage. I'm still losing to the combo with 1 backup. Versus Saga, good one, good one. So now, do I clue or do I plow? I think I plow. Plow this card. The opponent has 3 cards in hand. Plus, and now I'm holding up double plow. Right? Yes, plow, snap, plow. What if nothing happens? Then I'm gonna crack my land and sack my clue to draw a non-volcanic island, I guess. So right now my game plan is essentially Tamiyo. This is a cool game. I just love playing against Breakfast. That's a funny one. Narcomoeba will actually pressure. Will actually pressure Tamiyo. So I guess we have some kind of stalemate here. Maybe I should... what does this game look like if these are kept in check? If I Snapcaster or Plow now, Tamiyo goes to 6. Snapcaster Plow, Tamiyo goes to 6. The opponent still has some time here. Then I chum block, then he goes to 8. Yeah, I think I have to accept that this is going to be a longer game. Which is a little bit scary, I'm not going to lie. Let me fetch a Tundra. Sacrifice the clue. Trainer is not bad, but it is a little bit mana intensive. Let's do this. I could double trainer, hold up plow. Maybe that's the move. Trainer. Brainstorm, Preordain. Those are decent cards. I guess let's do this. Another trainer. I'm playing straight into days here. My hope is that I'm finding something like Force of Will here. Then I can turtle up a little bit. How do I feel about Flame of Anor? Is it better than Pyroblast? Flame of Anor. That's a pretty good card. Okay. Well, we've been here before. I only have a plow as defense. And now Daze is live. This could be my downfall. My plan is to protect the Tamiyo with a single chump block. I'm very scared. If my opponent has mana here, I think the game's over. Yeah, no, I think the game's over. Because the opponent would just make construct, right? If this was a fair game. Nomad. Yes. Oh, this is a good play. Love the play. Love the play to get this card into play. Perfect. Perfect play from the opponent. So now I don't gain anything from plowing in response. Well played. So both combo pieces, that kind of cooked me. So now I only have my bluff equity left before going to the next game. Yeah, this was a great game because I was stuck on mana for a while, and then that basically allowed my opponent to have a little bit of wiggle room. I drew 2 sagas, that was annoying. I guess let me yield to these 2 and then kind of let my opponent play this one out. There's Dread Return. So I can't win this game, but I can learn about my opponent's configuration. It looks like we are in this double Orms Chant. That's scary, right? Yeah, double Orms Chant. Let's see how much we can get our opponent to sweat. Single copy a step through. That's cool. So 1 more Illusionist. 7 cards in the deck. There's Oracle. The opponent will find Cabal Therapy eventually. Okay, there's Cabal Therapy. So now I can concede and have a look at my opponent's yard. So what did we learn here? We learned about double Fluster. We learned about double Orms Chant. So the opponent is very combo-centric. Does that change anything that the opponent's combo-centric? Well, Spell Pierce is pretty clutch in those combo games. So maybe the 1-1 split is what we need. Just a single dress down. Maybe I'm fine between, you know, flames, endings, plows, bigger Murktides. Okay, let's try the split. I think it's reasonable. All right. Game 3 here against Breakfast. Let's hope time does not become an issue. We're both a little bit under pressure time-wise, but I guess we'll be fine. Ooh, terrible. I need to mulligan. All right. This is what happens sometimes. This is absolutely abysmal. So let's see. Maybe these two blue cards are bad. Mulligan to 5. If this Tameo gets killed, I think I'm just dead. Not seeing a blue source for two hands is just not something you can really do that much about, right? The deck has a million blue sources, so that's how it goes. The opponent knows that with this Tameo and me in a double mulligan, killing that card is just how you do it. Okay, they couldn't do it, so I think I need to cast Preordain to find a land. I don't think that is up for debate at all. Let's see if I can find my land. I do find my land. Pass. So now the dream is to Stern Scolding a creature, untap, stabilize my mana, and try and grind into the game. My opponent's not going to let me, it looks like. Tameo down. Urza Saga and another land would be a disaster for me. There it is. Let's see if I can find a land to stay in this game. I'm willing to pass here. And then hold up Stern Scolding, Crack Clue on the end step. Land is good there from the opponent. Now they can kind of go into the Saga mode. Let's see. Thunder Trap. Prismatic Ending. Let's see. How do I give myself any form of fighting chance? Any form of fighting chance. I think it's by playing this card. Finding exactly Force the World and drawing a red source on the next turn. Step 1. Step 1. Then I'll force pitch Stern and then use Flame of Anor to hopefully get back into the game. Magic is always rough when you have these mana problems. But that's, you know, that's going to be the same for everybody. The opponent's in Saga mode. They can attack for 4. Oh, I guess they want to attack for 5. So they're basically saying Flame of Anor is your way out of this one. Makes a lot of sense. Well played. And I need to find a red source right now. I did not find a red source. All right, we have to pass the turn. The opponent with a no surveil. I guess they just really love their hand. No dress down, so I have to take a beating here. The opponent was 6 cards over there. That's dangerous. Also, they showed double fluster in the other game, so it could just be cooked to begin with. But let's see what we can find. They like the draw. Here's a Saga. Very strong. All right, so let's see. I should pass. Fetch Plateau. Though, funnily enough, if they respond to the fetch with Orm's Chant, we have another situation. Plateau. So now destroy target artifact, deal 5. So let's do it like this. Try and kill those two. So now the opponent has, like, they're just licking their chops here, because if I fight all in over this, they can just combo me out. Cracking a fetch in response. Those two are dead. Here's Cabal Therapy that I'm gonna let resolve quick. And then I'm a dead guy. Let's just see it for good measure. Have the GG message ready. Naming Force of Will. Coast is now officially clear. Huh? Okay, I'll delete that message. We're still playing here. Apparently. We're still playing here. What on earth is going on? I thought it was super dead there. I guess they just don't have Illusionist. They're gonna make some creatures here. So I guess let me fetch Tundra. They will be fetching out another Shuko. Wait a minute, did they fail to find this game? Construct token. Okay, I don't think they failed to find. I'm not sure. I lost track a little bit. So how do I stabilize here? If I play Murktide, what if I fetch Tundra here? I play Murktide Regent. Pass the turn. The opponent also has Cabal Therapy ready. Is this cycling? Okay, so now the opponent can do what? Ah, yeah, I think the opponent got me here. Or maybe not. Let's see. I think they got me if they have one backup. Because they cast... did I mess up here? Was I supposed to plow? Oh boy, here's Chant. So... yeah, now the opponent's beating me, right? Let's see. Orm's Chant. If I kill the Nomad in response, doesn't do anything, then they just do it like that. Okay. Now I can't cast any spells this turn, which is unfortunate. The opponent tutors a second Shuko, play Illusionist, mill their deck. So now I think my only chance is they're stuck with combo pieces in hand. So what if that's the case? Then if they only have one Narc Amoeba in the deck, that's a way to win. Yeah, let's just see. Let's just see. If they have another one, it's game over. Okay. Good games. The opponent has bested me, and we're into the last one. All right, last round of Jeskai Wizards. 4 lands. The thing is, this hand really has to develop nicely. So either I cook my opponent with a well-timed force, or I get to, you know, play on against a fair deck with ending. There's a little bit of a problem. These 2 cards are actually the perfect example of there exists very few decks where Prismatic Ending and Force Negation are both good against it. So that's why we need stuff like Brainstorm, you know, games to go a little bit longer for this main deck to be good enough. That is, at the end of the day, always going to be the problem with a control deck is what you're putting in that deck. The game 1 configuration is not going to be powerful against everybody. Oh, wait a minute. So this is actually pretty good for me, I think. So the opponent goes Chalice, and I will try and kill it with Ending. I think that's fine. Very, very bad draw. Let's play Flood and pass. Yeah, the land was atrocious. There's also an argument that I was supposed to negate right here, because if my opponent forces this ending, I could be a little bit cooked, but I think it's fine. Second island, so it's not Affinity. Is this some show and tell deck with like Impulse or whatever? I think it very well could be. Murktide Regent, probably not bad. Am I supposed to go Plains and play from basics here? Plains, Island, Prismatic Ending on the Chalice of the Void. It works. All right, so far so good. Now the question is my opponent a show and tell strategy? Another Chalice. So what happens if I let this resolve and I try and build my game plan around the Murktide? Let's try. Drawing Preordain does not exactly help. Let's do this. Pass with Heartcast Negation. Narset. That card is incredibly annoying. I don't think we can let that happen. 1 mana floating. This could be some draw 7 style deck. Terrible draw. I think I'm supposed to cast Preordain into the Abyss. And then let's see. Fetch, I guess Volcanic is fine. Murktide Regent. That's a 6/6. I don't like my chances here at all, I must say. I think it's very realistic the opponent finds something powerful before the dust settles. 4 mana. Narset. Let's see what the opponent's up to. I think we'll learn more about our opponent's deck with this pick. What's my best draw? Force, I guess. The opponent finds Stock Up, which is really good. So now this Narset was an avenue into Stock Up that also saved 6 life. If I draw another Murktide, I'll bin these cards. Karn the Great Creator. So I think this is some Echo deck. Blind Sight, yeah, exactly. So the opponent's going to pass once more. I'm a little bit surprised by that. Snapcaster Mage. Yeah, I'm gonna attack the planeswalkers. If my opponent wants to fire a draw 7, I don't necessarily love my chances, but who knows? Here's Chrome Mox. The opponent imprinting stock up. Okay, so the opponent's gonna go all in here and just fold to a Force Will straight up. Oh, that explains a lot. Okay, that's cool. Hull Breacher. So they would just fold to a Force here. Straight up fold. Counter the Echo. So I think I'm supposed to... The opponent realized that, so I now need to live off of that bluff a little bit. If I play my Snapcaster, I'm saying you should probably go and cast the Echo. And I don't want that to happen, so, well, let's make a draw. I draw the Force, which is hilarious. So now I have pitch negation, Snapcaster Hardcast negation up. Yeah, that was awesome. Especially because if the opponent has 6 mana. Let me just resolve this one. If the opponent has 6 mana, the Hardcast Echo of Eons would be, you know, exiled. Here's another one. So Snapcaster negation on that one. So the opponent could have played... I guess they just drew one of the draw 7s this turn. I guess that's why. Yes, screwing the Merc, which conveniently enough makes it into a 2-turn clock. This is really funny. I guess attacking with both here is going to be good. Just play the land. I'm not beating a draw 7, so I guess the opponent just has one draw to do it to me here. The opponent didn't get there. That was really, really cool. Okay, so my opponent's a draw 7 deck, but they're also a Chalice deck, so I have to think about that. I'll consider these cards. I'm sad to announce that I cannot consult the guide for this particular matchup. I don't believe in Wrath of the Skies, actually. Plow is a card I at least should get rid of 2 of, at least. Dress Down. I don't think that card is good. Could easily cut a Plains if I'm not bringing in Wrath of the Skies. I love all of these cards. This card kills Chalice. Couple of Plows for Hull Breachers, but I just have so many answers for Hull Breachers, so I think in that case, blue card is better. Stern Scolding counters exactly Hull Breacher on the stack, which is, yeah, not bad, not bad. Let's try this setup. I think this will be good. Wheeling and dealing. We got lucky the opponent passed the turn there. Very lucky. Sometimes the card you're losing to, if you're passing the turn, there's just a higher chance the opponent has that card you're losing to. So, Daze, Wasteland, Force, that kind of stuff. The card didn't magically go away if it was already there the previous turn. But of course, I'm not sure about my opponent's last draw step. So this is just a general good way to think about the game. That if I'm losing to random interaction, going forward the following turn, that's just one more draw step or one more, you know, opportunity with cantrips and whatnot for the opponent to find the card you're worried about. So I say all of that to say that going for it rarely gets better. Oh, wow. So how explosive is my opponent? If this was like some Oops All Spells deck keeping 7, I would consider it, but I don't think it's viable here. Oof. This hand is not great, but I think I have to keep it. Get rid of Murktide. Then I try and find a red source. Or some lands, I guess, before I'm dead. This is scary. I've had a little bit of mana issues today. That's what happens sometimes. Ooh, what is this? Holding up something. If I get dismembered, mystical disputed, or whatever, it is what it is. Lauren revealed. That makes sense. You're trying to have a blue count. It's frequently a card you can hardcast even. Okay, so far so good. Now we need the land. Okay, so I think we have successfully made it into the game here. And now I hope to embark on a journey that allows me to Pyroblast some stock ups or Narsets, I guess. 4 mana. Don't Karn me, bro. 5 mana. Please don't play Karn. This is fine. So the opponent plays around Pierce. Well played. I should go for Plateau here, I feel like. I think this is not a backup situation from the opponent. This is more of a back-to-back haymaker situation. Yep. Brainstorm. That is a good one. So now I get to flip my Tamiyo and dig for my next card. And we brainstorm into Force of Will. Yes, we can. Am I now killing a pedal? I guess let's put back. I mean, these cards are pretty darn good. They're just not castable. Do I want to shuffle away this Dress Down with my trainer next turn? Could very well be possible. So let's put back 2. Flip the Tamiyo. Kill the pedal. I don't love this, but... And now my move is basically, you know, force a threat. Narset. Let's pitch the Dress Down. I think that's a good one. Opponent has 3 cards in hand. Trying to bury them with my graveyard here. I could return Force. That would be bad. That would be good, right? So let's see. I know about the top card being Dress Down, but I think that's all right. Let's cast Trainer. More Force. This is good. So guess return another Force of Will and just sit pretty here with my Planeswalker. I think the opponent's... Yeah, the opponent needs to resolve big things here. Let's force with the Brainstorm. I'll just try and bury my opponent in forces. Blue card or land? Land, not bad. The Lionside Imet is all good because that's an all-in situation from the opponent. Days Undoing. So now if the opponent has another draw 7, we're actually having a game, which is kind of funny. Let's pitch a Force because I need to make it to the next turn. Okay, so they have a draw 7. Sick. Okay, well, here we go. We are into a normal game-ish. The opponent has 7 cards, 2 mana, 3 mana, stock up. Let me force and negate that card, pitching Murktide Regent, I believe. Or Tamiyo, actually. Yeah, sure. Let's pitch the Tamiyo. This is a super sweet game. Am I end-step brainstorming? I think I am. I guess put back. This mountain is probably very bad. Random blue card's better. So now I can kill the pedal and draw 2. That should be good. Let's fetch like this, because I really want to find... I'll at least have the potential to find a Pyroblast. Draw 2, just, draw 2, kill artifact. Now let me kill my Planeswalker to get back negation. Attack for Uno, and I'm actually running out of disruption here, which is unfortunate. Tamiyo putting on a little bit of a display here. The 1-mana Planeswalker. Grabbing all sorts of stuff from the graveyard. Okay, so I guess let's try and lure out the Hull Breacher. Hull Breacher is the card on my radar here. But it looks like my mana base is good enough to go Murktide. Pass. No Hull Breacher. That's surprising. That card is fine. 7. Is this Ugin? No, it's not. Ooh, I held up bad mana here for force negation. Let me pitch Murktide. I don't think that makes a difference here. So now that card is exiled. Yeah, that was the thing. I should have responded with a clue here. All right, mistakes were made. Play land. So now I have Snapcaster negation with Pyro backup. I think that's going to do it. But yeah, this was a hard one to maneuver. Really hard to maneuver. Here's Narset. Let's counter it with the Blast. I had all the tools, it was just a little bit hard to maneuver. I basically needed a counter every turn of the game, aside from the early turns, which was what made it in the end. So here, Snapcaster. And the game is over, because I have 8 damage. All right. That was a sweet one to end off the video. We got to play some sweet games. We played against Tempo. We played against Breakfast. That got me in the end. A little bit of mana issues. And then we got to put on a cool display of the art of saying no in a game of Magic. The game of Magic the Gathering. So, yeah. If Jeskai Wizards is your jam, go and get my guide over on my Metafy. As always, it's a big pleasure to be playing Legacy here on the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you back soon. Bye, guys.